Bonsoir et bienvenue à la classe de français. Je m'appelle Mr. Arcangeli. Good evening and welcome to French class. It's a pleasure to have you with us here tonight, and I'm glad to have your son or daughter in my French 1 class. This year we have a lot of exciting things planned, and we have a lot of activities, and we're going to be diving into the French language and hopefully learning some things that they can put into practice as they go forward in French. Let me tell you a little bit about myself as we're getting started. I'm originally from New Mexico. I did my undergrad studies at the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. I spent a year at McGill University in Montreal, perfecting my French, learning about French-Canadian culture, and immersing myself in the language. I did my graduate studies at Middlebury College in Middlebury, Vermont, where I received a master's of French. This is my 14th year teaching. I taught 9 years in New Mexico, and this is my 5th year here in Michigan. I really enjoy the kids. I really enjoy teaching the culture, the language, and everything about France and the Francophone world. Let me tell you a little bit about the class now. The approach I use is called a functional or communicative approach, where the students really use the language in class through activities, games, songs, pair work, group work, discussions. So they really get a feel for the language, the French language, and how to use it in real life situations. I believe in positive participation, and through positive participation I mean that every student needs to participate every day in some way to earn their participation points for the quarter. I use total points, so they need 50 participation points by the end of the quarter. To earn their participation points, they can raise their hand in class, they can offer an answer, they can participate in a discussion, they can lead an activity, they can maybe win a particular game that we're playing in French. They can earn points through that. Or if they're not as comfortable as raising their hand in class or participating in those ways, then they can also do research an article about France or Francophone culture, or also create flashcards with the vocabulary that we're doing for that particular chapter. So there are other ways to earn the participation points by the end of the quarter. A little bit more about my syllabus. The book we're using is called BND 1. And it looks something similar to this. In the book, it's divided up by units. And the first unit we're doing is about greetings, leave-takings, numbers, basically asking how to say your name, give your name, etc. in French. So it's divided up into chapters. In each chapter they have vocabulary sections. They have 2 sections, and they also have grammar capsules that we're going to be working on. We'll be working on the 3 main verbs in French, ER, IR, and RE verbs, and how to conjugate those in the present tense. And towards the end of the year, we'll get into a little bit of the past tense that will take them on into French too. Also in my syllabus, we talk about some of the concepts that we're going to be covering. Vous versus tu, different forms of formality in French, from formal you to informal you. We talk about eating customs in France versus the US, very important. School schedules in France versus the US, and many of these cultural topics in addition to the vocabulary and grammar. I do believe in the 3 R's. The 3 R's are respect, resiliency, and responsibility. By respect, I mean that they respect one another within the class and they respect myself, and that they also have resiliency, that they learn to put themselves out there, to get out of their comfort zone, using the language, to take risks, and if they make mistakes, to learn from those and to do better the next time around. It's responsibility, that they take responsibility for their daily work, their homework, their quizzes, and they take responsibility in their actions in the classroom. So those are the 3 R's that I expect. In addition to our classwork and the things that we do, there's also French Club, which they may want to become involved with. French Club does a variety of activities throughout the year, cultural activities, and they don't always center just on France, but on the Francophone or French-speaking world. The French-speaking world includes also places like Senegal, or maybe Haiti, or maybe Tahiti. So it's many different places around the world where French is used as a primary or secondary language to learn about French culture, French-speaking culture. So French Club, and if they go on in French, which hopefully they will, they will also be eligible in the second semester of French 2 to join French National Honor Society. And French National Honor Society is an honor society in which you have to maintain an A- or better in French, a B- or better in overall in your other courses. You have to become involved in community service. You take the National French exam and other criteria like that in order to become a member of the French National Honor Society. Also, if they're interested, as they go on in French, many students may be wanting to travel to France. And to travel to France, we take a trip every other year. So this year we went between June 18th and July 2nd. We took 25 students to France. We were in Paris for a week in Paris, seeing the sights and monuments. And we also spent a week in the south of France, in Aix-en-Provence, in which they did a homestay. They were immersed in French by living with families, actual French families they were placed with, that had young people their same age and have similar interests to them as well. So it's a very good way to become immersed in the culture, to learn more about the culture firsthand, and to really begin to understand how the language works on an everyday basis. That's something to look forward to down the line. The best way to reach me if you have questions or concerns as the year unfolds is by email. My email is darcangeli@rochester.k12.mi.us, or you may also call my phone extension at 248-726-6390. And that is another way that you can reach me throughout the year. But the best way really is through email. I'm really excited to have your daughter or son in class this year, as I said. I'm looking forward to working together to see them succeed and to see them be able to acquire French so that they can use it in their travels, their studies, later on in their careers as they go on through life. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me, to contact me if you have any questions or concerns. And I look forward to seeing you at parent-teacher conferences and having the chance to talk a little bit more one-on-one. Thank you for coming tonight, and au revoir, à bientôt.